Welcome to highlights of Horizon Racing League Season 6, Round 11, the final round at Las Vegas. My name's Chris, otherwise known as Screamlight, going to be taking you through the action in a double points round where the drivers had to use every type of tyre. But before we get into it, let's see where we stand going into the last round of what has been an intense Season 6. Your mate took yet another victory and secured the driver's title in the last round at Abu Dhabi. He's also practically got one hand on the constructor's title for the third season in a row. And he took that victory by 21.7 seconds over Six Pompano, who got driver of the day. The Scottish completed the podium, while Tommy, Syke Snipes, Vampire, Bazza, Mac-Chan, Dabasaurus and Andy took your points. Bunny's Vengeance got disqualified for not running the wildcard. There's confirmation that I'm Your Mate has claimed the driver's title. The battle for second, though, between Six and Scottish is fairly intense, while Bunny's Vengeance attempts to hold off the other two Platinum class drivers in the overall standings. And Mago joined in prior to the League versus League race, which will be taking place after Season 6, just to see the competition, but didn't manage to score overall points. They also claimed Platinum class honours, while the battle for second is just separated by 4 points. Tommy Ash also can still close up to the guys in front with a good result against his rivals. Bunny's Vengeance disqualification means that Syke Snipes is now right on the tail of the Northern Irishman. Perpetual, joining in the final round, can at least close up to the guys in front. Andy leads the way in silver, but can also still be caught by Bazo, while Vibs and Sign finishing third and fourth in that classification, regardless of result today. The closest battles in bronze, where the gap between Dabasaurus and Mac-Chan is 11 points. Rover can break into the hundreds, whereas Lewis and Alfie are unlikely to be driving. And in D class, Mago moved straight into 4th place with victory in that classification. In the last round, Joker is already claiming the title here. Hydrojax won't be racing and can't close up. And we've got one more person to jump in. And the constructors, Ferrari lead the way ahead of McLaren, who are just 2 ahead of RB. That battle could switch places, whereas everybody else from Williams to Haas can all still swap with results. So that's how we're looking going into the double points round at Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Strip Circuit, a more recent addition to the Formula 1 calendar. Let's take a look at what our drivers are going to have to tackle. The Las Vegas Strip Circuit, one of the latest American additions to the calendar. 3.853 kilometres with 17 turns. Max Verstappen and George Russell have the most wins here with 1 apart. Jacob, I'm Your Mate, and the Scottish level pegging with them in Horizon. Heading down towards turn number 1 and turn number 2, this double left-hand hairpin. Very medium speed, you can carry a fair amount of speed through it if you need to. Then it's 3 and then 4, these double right-hand apex where you're constantly on the throttle before you head down Koval Lane, the first of our DRS zones. Heavy braking at the end of this one into turn number 5, where the track gets particularly narrow. It's really almost 1 by 1 through here as the long right-hander through 6, and then it's working at your braking point for 7, 8 and 9 as you go past the MSG sphere. There it is in the background, looming over you. Turn number 9, tight left-hand corner just next to this tramway or bridge, and then it's a long right, full beans through turn number 10, and the same through turn number 11 to the left. for real heavy braking into turn number 12. You can take a fair amount of curb on the inside, watch the wall on the outside, but then it's the long drag down the Las Vegas Boulevard, the strip. Turn 13 is a slight left-hander in the middle of the strip, just around here, before the DRS kicks in. You'll be heading at your absolute peak speed into 14, 15 and 16, this triple apex chicane at the end. Heavy braking, but you can take some curb there, ride the curb on exit, and you're always gathering speed through the rest of it as you head down Harmon Avenue and turn number 17, the final corner, very slight left-hander before you go back across the start-finish line. So that's the Las Vegas Strip Circuit, the challenger that's going to face our drivers for the final race of the season. But let's take a look at the grid order and mention some penalties from qualifying. The Scottish took pole ahead of I'm Your Mate, Vampire in third with Six Pompano fourth and Bunny fifth. Tommy starts sixth but has a 10-second penalty to be added on after contact with Mac Chan during quali. Syke Snipes, Sign, Rover and Perpetual complete the top 10. Dabasaurus is 11th ahead of Cybersleeve, who's 12th on debut. Andy's 13th with Vibs and 14th. Mac Chan qualified 10th but got a 5-place grid penalty with contact in qualifying. And Bazza joined late, so starts 16th and last. So that's how we line up for the final time in Season 6. Let's head to the action and see how they coped with all types of tyre. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights and 5. And away we go at Vegas, and Syke Snipes has already been disqualified after a jump start and a collision. As they head into turn 1, I'm Your Mate and the Scottish are side by side. There's movement everywhere else and we're already under virtual safety car. 10-second penalty for Dabasaurus, 10-second penalty as well, I think, for Cyber Celine. Tommy now kind of just getting caught out there by the VSC. He's ahead of Vampire. Whether he's got to switch that place back, but it all kind of went off early doors. Let's see. Anyone got damage further down the order? Doesn't look like it. Baz has managed to avoid it and moves up to 12th. Let's take a look at the carnage off the start. But first, from Dabasaurus' viewpoint, you can see Syke Snipes has got away before the lights have turned off. So he got disqualified for that. But as you can see, Syme loses the rear. Dabasaurus goes into Rover and Dabasaurus picks up a 10-second penalty just as the VSC's deployed. Because of the types of penalties they are, the stewards decided to remove 10 seconds from Dabasaurus' race time as it's a typical safety car based penalty. We'll watch this from Rover's viewpoint as well. Watch Syke Snipes up ahead, goes before the lights are out and immediately tries to back off and sort himself out, but has already been disqualified at this point, I believe. Syme there, losing the rear end, trying to not check up into the back of the Alpine. Rover goes into the back of him, bumping and barging with Bazza through turn 1. And then we're straight into the VSC. Rover lucky to get away with very minimal damage there. And then we'll watch from Bazza's perspective a little bit further back, because he also found himself caught up in amongst the battling ahead. As the lights go out, he gets a great start. Andy's slow to react there, so he moves past both Mac Chan and Andy. And then you'll see everybody checking up just ahead. He wipes out half of his front wing on the back of Dabasaurus. There's Syke Snipes disqualified Alpine running off circuit. Bazza, though, has gained some positions, even with a little bit of damage. The race neutralised as they head down the strip. Got to drive to a delta time. And those with 10-second penalties, they should be able to clear those at the pit stops, and everybody's got to make at least 4, so might be the time for those guys to head straight in as the VSC is over. I'm Your Mate manages to stay in front. We've got moves further back. Vibs going up the inside towards the chicane. Good move there from the Williams past Cyber Celine. There's a bit of a gap back to the guys further down the order. I'm Your Mate crosses the line in the lead. The Scottish there, Six Pompano is... Oh, well, no, we've got lots of movement. Oh, we've got pit stops already. Vampire and Bunny's Vengeance in. That's why Six Pompano moved ahead. Syme, Mac Chan, Bazza, Dabasaurus all heading in now. So they're trying to take their stops early. The top four Platinum drivers. I'm Your Mate leads the Scottish. Then it's Tommy in third. Right behind them, Six Pompano's trying to close up. Everybody down at the back. Bunny's Vengeance, Mac Chan, Syme, Dabasaurus, Bazza all have taken pit stops, as has Vampire. It's right on board with the Scottish though, because he is right behind I'm Your Mate, who looks to be struggling. As we head towards the strip, DRS is going to be in operation this lap. Six Pompano's fallen a little bit off the back of Tommy. I'm Your Mate takes a little bit of curb. There's a yellow flag, and it's for Six Pompano. He's gone deep into the hairpin there. He's going to be under threat as the top three run pretty close together. Syme ahead of Machan. Dabosaurus has cleared his penalty. We've still got a yellow in sector 2. Who's gone somewhere? I can see Vibs and Perpetual and Six Pompano. Look at them. They're almost 3-4 wide down the strip. Cyber Celine with a dive up the inside. Gets past Perpetual. And is right behind Six Pompano.
And you've all broken away from me, so that's probably me done for.
Once I get a safety car, no, I'm fucked.
Oh, and then a big lockup. Yeah, great. Cool. GG's. I'm never racing this track again already.
Oh, because I'm fucking start.
What the hell is my tyre wear? By the way?
Understood. Stopping this lap.
Oh.
Please you can. Push, push.
Lunar Eclipse has got Perpetual there for company. I think Perpetual could go for a move, either up towards the hairpin or down the strip. Both of them getting a little bit squirrely under brakes as Andy's gone past the Scottish, who's on the wet tyre. To ride back with Perpetual as he heads down the strip. DRS will be wide open here. Should be an easy move. He's up the inside. The Haas goes past the Sauber. Through he goes into 4th place. Both still yet to change any tyres. We'll be seeing a lot of action in the pits. Pompano now has closed up to the back of Andy. This is pretty much the only real fight on track. Bowser up behind Vampire further back, but they've taken early pit stops, so they've very much done their duty in terms of getting their tyres out the way as Andy, late on the brakes, locks up. Six Pompano finds the space, gets up the inside of the Alpine. He's going to go off in search of everybody up ahead. Rover now on the back of Cyber Celine. Coming into the strip, so the Aston may repeat what Perpetual did last time around, on the last lap no less. Those soft tyres can't be lasting much longer, and they do obviously need to switch to all of the other different types of tyre. It'll be a DSQ in their debut. Rover now. DRS open. Cyber Celine tries to squeeze. There's a little bit of contact. They try and hold it on the outside, but Rover is through, and the Aston Martin can start to scamper away. Tommy in now. Cyber Celine still pushing here. Vibs is also in. These two head in across the start-finish line. Cyber Celine gets his nose in, and he's forced his way through there. Rover now on the inside for turn 2. Will he get the power down and get away? Gets the DRS as well. Should pull away. Scotch with a 33.4. Fastest lap of the race. Down in 10th after taking the stops. Tommy closing up on the back of these two. Cyber Celine into the wall. Loses a bit of front wing. Baz has gone past Vampire further back. Tommy trying to go around the outside. There's contact. Tommy has to take off over the runoff. But he is in front. The Sauber missing half a front wing. We've seen Rover get past Sauber Celine. Let's see what happened to Tommy as well. You'll see up ahead that the Sauber gets a little bit deep into the corner, bounces off the wall, and as Tommy tries to get on the power, clips the back and gets front wing damage. But then we'll go around the outside towards the sphere, holds the position, Sauber Celine on the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Tommy's off across the runoff, but has gained the position and is now following his teammate.
Careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage.
Maybe a little bit of desperate defence there. Tommy coming through with the medium tyres on, so has got that stint out the way. Bazza and Vampire still fighting further back. Let's take a look at these two as they are into turn 1 and 2. Bazza gets through as Syme goes past Vibs. Vibs on the Inter though, keeping up with Syme. Clearly can hold the intermediate tyres together nicely. Lap 7 of 25 as Tommy goes past Rover. I'm sure that's a calculated change of position, or is it? These two side. Tommy's off. No, Rover's off. Rover is off. Tommy is through. 6 is through. Andy's through. Rover having to wait to get back onto track. Don't know what happened between the two Astons there. As the Scottish goes through as well. Rover down to 10th. We said the move was planned.
I'm going to stay on the inside.
As you can hear there, Rover suggesting to Tommy to go around the outside of him down the strip. But as Rover approaches the braking point at maximum attack, loses the rear end, goes straight on and is straight into the runoff area. It will take a little bit of time to turn back around as well. Spins the car in the large runoff, but then has to wait for everybody to get back past him so he can get back on track cleanly and safely. Watch that from Tommy's perspective as well, because you'll see the other Aston Martin, that is, flying immediately past as we get to the braking point. Has the DRS though, or will have the DRS, so he at least can get in the slipstream of his teammate. It's already been advised to move to the right hand side to go through, so Tommy claims that position nice and easily. But you'll watch in the background, the other Aston loses the rear, goes straight on, and there's a little bit more contact, a little bit more front wing damage for Tommy. So that's where we stand in terms of tyres thus far. Dabosaurus now, as Bazza and Vampire still fighting down at the back there. Dabosaurus though fighting with Vibs, who is on the wet tyre, which means that Dabosaurus is basically just pushing him along, needs to get by for his own championship here. Will do eventually. Simon and Andy switched places as well. Bunny's Vengeance is going side by side with Rover. He's ahead of the Aston for now, but Rover's going to come back at him surely down the strip. As the Scottish has now also got past Andy into the chicane at the end. It's kind of settled down a little bit here, although Vampire and Baz are still going side to side further back. We'll ride on board with the Scottish as he chases Syme. Rover and Vibs both in. Tommy's gone past Perpetual further forward. The passes are happening, but all very much based up kind of on tyres and differing strategies as the Scottish clips the wall. Vibs, Cyber Selena in. Tommy's only 1/10 of a second off I'm Your Mate. Let's run to that one. Looks like I'm Your Mate has taken a stop. He has. He's on the wet tyres. So he's currently a rolling roadblock, but he's still able to keep pace with Tommy. He's gone by. Bazza and Vampire still side by side. These two look to be having a fantastic fight further down the field. Mac Chan goes past Cyber Celine on the first, or through the first DRS zone. Right on board with Tommy as he goes past both Perpetual and I'm Your Mate in one fell swoop. Touches the back of the Haas there and essentially kind of bumps him out of the way. But Perpetual tries to hold on, doesn't manage to. I'm Your Mate up ahead though on the wet tyre, using one of the tyres he has to use for the wildcard. You can see though the Ferrari not exactly struggling too much until they get to the braking zone, where Tommy has a huge traction advantage. Pushes the Ferrari through the left-hander before heading out onto the strip. I'm Your Mate knows he doesn't really have a huge amount that he can do to defend, but he's trying his very best. But Tommy on the battery gets the DRS and he's past the champion. will ride on board with Vampire here because you feel he's going to go past Basil once again. It's only lap 9 of 25, still a fair amount of this race to go, but everybody obviously needing to make pit stops for all different types of tyres, and yeah, Vampire back through on Bazza. Will Bazza attempt to return the favour? And we won't into that chicane. Might do though, going a bit further forward. I'm your mate goes past Andy. We see the tail end of that move and he's through. He's on the soft tyre at the moment, so we'll be trying to regain time. Cyber Celine is in as Bazza and Vampire once again switch places. These two really having a nice battle further back. Let's ride on board with I'm your mate as he chases down Andy, both on dry tyres at this stage. I'm your mate having got the full wets out of the way, but he's following the Alpine in towards the sphere. And as you can see, Andy kind of in the middle of the track trying to just get the car around. Seems to be struggling for grip already. I'm your mate though looks to the outside, does the up and under. It's past the Alpine. Really slick move. We'll head to the strip once again, and Bazza, sorry, is likely to be having another go here, and they've got Vibs in for company. As Bazza goes up the inside into the chicane, they switch places once again. Where did Vibs? Vibs went a little wide there. Here we are with Vibs heading down towards the end of the Las Vegas strip. DRS open, battery, you've got two cars in front of him, Vampire and Bazza. As you can see, they're battling amongst themselves. Vibs, though, gets his braking point all wrong and goes straight on to avoid going into the back of Vampire. Quickly back on track, though. No harm, no foul. They've now got Rover on their tail as well, but everything's just sort of settled down. I'm your mate is with Syme. We'll get the DRS down the strip. Syme hasn't got much to defend here. Nice easy pass for the champion. Everybody now, I think, just trying to strategize their way into their sort of finishing positions as we've got Perpetual into the pits. Let's ride on board here with I'm your mate though, as he's up behind the Scottish. Feel he should get this move done fairly easily. Vampire's got past Andy further back. I'm your mate, so it lasted 13 laps as the Scottish gets very leery into that tight left, but should have the move done even possibly before DRS is open. Right in the slipstream. Both at maximum attack. He does go to the outside and he's past the Scottish. Through he goes. Back into P2. Six Pompano yet to take another stop. So we go yellow flag in sector 2 once again. Trying to see what's happened as Dabsaurus goes past Bazza. Don't know whether Bazza's made a mistake somewhere. There's Rover, Vampire as well. Tommy's gone past Syme through the first DRS zone. Gap at the front, 16 seconds.
True.
Riding on board with the Alpine of Andy here. It's gone off round by the sphere in the last lap. Heads up to the same point this lap. Goes straight on, clips the wall. Plenty of runoff area there to survive, but comes back to the track running a little slowly. Mac Chan will be on top of him before he knows it, but at least he's got away without any damage to his Alpine. It's full wet tyres for Six Pompano, so he's taking that stop now. As well, right on board with the Scottish. They're going to come out literally just behind Six Pompano as there's a little tag on the back there. Not major. Let's move up to Perpetual, though, who's not far ahead of these two, but he's got Six Pompano ahead of him, who's on the wet tyre. You can see how badly the RB's struggling. Is he going to attempt around the outside into the sphere chicane? No, he's not. Going to hold right in behind him, though. Six can't get the traction down with the wet tyres. Perpetual, though, wiggling his ass, but he goes round the outside there because there's no grip for 6 at the moment. Let's ride on board with the Scottish. Lap 15 of 25, these two rapidly closing into 6 Pompano, who needs to come back in anyway to switch to another different set of tyres as the Scottish goes past I'm Your Mate on the strip. And there's 6 Pompano. Surely he's going to be coming in at the end of this lap, possibly even for intermediate tyres. Looks like Perpetual's coming in. Yeah, there goes 6. Perpetual in 2. As we've got I'm Your Mate and the Scottish side by side down towards turn number 1. I'm Your Mate on the inside, Scottish on the outside. Still side by side. These two somehow give each other just enough racing room. I'm Your Mate, though, sweeps round the outside, and he looks to be in front at the moment, but he's not. The Scottish still comes back at him with DRS, and he's back past the Ferrari. These two doing exactly what they did in Season 5's last race, having a fantastic duel to the end. I think we're going to have these two firing down the strip together again. Davasaurus looks to still be hunting Vibs a bit further back, and he's got past the Williams. Will be likely a DRS pass in the first DRS zone as we'll head into the second with I'm Your Mate. 6 has gone past Perpetual, who's on the inters, so it should be a fairly straightforward overtake, but here goes I'm Your Mate. It was a struggle even with the DRS last time, not so much this time though. Past the McLaren well, and he's clear of him before the braking zone. Again, these two side by side down the next DRS zone. Scottish round the outside as Perpetual gets a speeding pit lane penalty. They're still side by side, and the Scottish just about gets in front. As I'm Your Mate once again, as Perpetual's in, will be running that last type of tyre he needs to run, I'm sure. I'm Your Mate once again though, as we've got a yellow in sector 1. Let's see what we can see. Somebody somewhere made a mistake. That might just be Syme struggling around on the wet tyres. I think Rover was off the road there, perhaps. Seems to be okay now. Here we are with Rover. Locks up going towards the end of the first DRS zone. And it will take about a 7 or 8 point turn to get back out of that particular section. Simple lockup for the Aston Martin, which caused the yellow flag, but eventually manages to get it turned around and back on track.
I'm sorry. That's over.
I think it's just Syme. Yep, Syme the only person out there on wet tyres at the moment, as we've got 6 Pompano with Bunny's Vengeance. Great time to join that battle as 6 goes through. A little nudge there from I'm Your Mate, got on the brakes too late, and he's nudged the Scottish. Don't think that's cost either of them too much. Syme is in the pits to get rid of those wet tyres, which he'll definitely be happy about. I'm Your Mate tries to head up the inside of the Scottish, doesn't make it though. Once again, I'm Your Mate heading in towards the strip. Scottish locks up a bit. Vibs is in. We'll stay with I'm Your Mate though, as he's on the back of the McLaren. He'll have DRS as well. Almost bump drafting down the strip. He goes past the McLaren there as Cyber Celine goes past. Oh, I was going to say goes past Bazza, but we just saw them off. At the top end of the straight, not sure what happened. Andy's in the pits as well. Here we are with Bazza being chased by Cyber Celine as they head down the Las Vegas Strip. Bazza using battery to try and stay just far enough in front of the Sauber. But you can see that the DRS is powerful enough for Cyber Celine to close and close and close and close. Bazza gets on the brakes. Cyber Celine goes too late, goes straight on. Bazza manages to avoid any major contact. As well, run with the Scottish here. See if he's going to return the favour, and I think he is. Side by side, but he's back past I'm Your Mate. These two swapping positions almost lap on lap at the moment. Not long left of this race or this season as I'm Your Mate basically pushing the McLaren through. Big drift for the Ferrari, but he's all right. So we are really getting close to the end. You'd expect Tommy to be coming in this lap. As Dubosaurus comes in now. And here goes I'm Your Mate. You can see the varying tyre life of I'm Your Mate and Six Pompano, but here comes I'm Your Mate with the Scottish. He's back through with DRS again. I'm Your Mate currently up behind his, well, on track his teammate Bazza, but the Haas driver Bazza, who moves completely out of the way, doesn't want anything to do with this lead battle. These two are both going to have to come in at the end of this lap. Dubosaurus on the inters, that explains the pass for Syme. Let's move back to the Scottish as we begin to head towards the strip. Oh, the Scottish getting all crossed up. We'll have the DRS. Dubosaurus now speeding in the pit lane, gets a 10-second penalty. That's probably going to hang over him for the rest of the race unless it clears. Well, unless he pits at the end of the lap. But Scottish now moves into the lead. I'm Your Mate, little nudge, but it's okay. Rover's in as well. Both of those guys, I think, need to just get an inters out the way. These two both do as well. So it's going to be a battle on pit lane as well as on the road. Both with inters, both managed to stop it. Tommy's going to be coming in as well because he needs to move to the intermediate tyres. Scottish gets out ahead of I'm Your Mate. But the battle is going to be on track between these two on the intermediate tyres to end the race, as Six is also in. So Tommy might be claiming third place here, which would be a pretty impressive drive. As Bazza goes past Rover down at the back, I guess Rover on a wet tyre. He's going to be struggling. We've got yellows out in sector 1. That was Andy off at turn 1. Here we are with Andy in the Alpine once again, heading down towards the start finish line and into turn 1. Car looking
makes sense.
fairly planted through the final corner, but as he gets down into turn 1, just late on the brakes, locks up, goes straight on, manages to stop before the barriers, flick spin the car and get back on track. But the Scottish is heading down the strip, 3.2 seconds, 3.3 to the good. Just has to round the final couple of corners and the Scottish will take victory in the final race of the season. And will be the 4th different winner in Season 6. The Scottish takes the win ahead of I'm Your Mate, who crosses the line. Rover's in the pits as we speak. Tommy will possibly come home third here. Six Pompano's hunting him down. But he's not going to get him. Tommy will take third. Six will take fourth. Race is over for Andy, who will take P14. Bunny's Vengeance is going to take P5 on the wet tyre to finish his season on a high. He takes the gold class honours. Cyber Celine is done for the day. Vampire will come home P6. Vibs is going to come home P7 in the Williams. Time will come home P8. Won't manage to catch Vibs in silver, but as had a great race there. Perpetual will finish today. Brilliant from Perpetual, P9. Mac-Chan will come home P10 ahead of Dabosaurus. So I think bronze may go to Mac-Chan. We'll see in the post-race. As Dabosaurus with Bazza right on his tail. Dabosaurus on the wets will just hold off Bazza, but that penalty will see him fall to 12th. Bazza will take 11th, and Rover's going to be the last man across the line on the intermediate tyres. Rover's going to come across the line, but it's the Scottish that takes the victory. So that's round 11 done, and season 6 of Horizon in the books. Let's take a look at the full calendar, the classified results, and the final stand-ins. The Scottish took victory in Vegas, his first of the season. Six Pompano got 1 victory, 2 victories for Hydrodax, and I'm Your Mate took every other victory on the way to his 3rd title in a row. The Scottish took victory by 3.5 seconds ahead of I'm Your Mate with 6 Pompano 3rd. Tommy Ash got 4th and driver of the day for great strategy work. Bunny's Vengeance, Vampire, Vibs, Sign, Perpetual and Mac-Chan completed the top 10 point scorers. Means that the Scottish take 2nd by 7 points ahead of 6 Pompano in the stand-ins. Bunny's Vengeance holds on to 4th, just 6 clear of Tommy Ash, while Vampire jumps Psych Snipes into 6th. And I'm Your Mate, already champion. Vibs moved up to 12th, demoting Elijah to 14th, while Dabosaurus remained 13th, and Mac-Chan finished just outside the top 10. Cyber Celine didn't score overall points and moves into 34th and last, just behind Mago, with Scornful Griffin, Jimmy, Alex, Stevie and 3 Portas outside of the top 28. I'm Your Mate had already taken platinum, but the Scottish claimed 2nd place in that division with 6 Pompano in 3rd. Tommy moves clear of Vampire to take 4th, Vampire 5th of the platinum drivers. Like Snipes DSQ at the very start of the race meant that Bunny's Vengeance had already claimed gold by the end of turn 1. Perpetual moves up to 140 points and finishes 42 behind Psych Snipes in 3rd. Andy claims silver by 22 points with Bazza in 2nd. Vibs moved clear of Syme in 3rd, and Syme ends on a nice number of points in 4th. Dabosaurus claimed bronze by just 3 points ahead of Mac-Chan, while Rover absolutely secure in 3rd place ahead of Lewis and Alfie, who round off that classification. Goku had already claimed D-Class before the race even started. Hydrojax takes 2nd, Cybersleen, thanks to double points and being the only D-Class driver, moves immediately into 3rd ahead of Mr. Sacklepicker, Mago, Scornful Griffin and Jimmy, the only other ones to score D-Class points. And then a host of drivers who did race and a host of drivers who didn't race over the course of the season. Ferrari took the Constructors' title by 32 points ahead of McLaren, who are just 20 clear of RB. Williams remained 4th, Aston move up into 5th, demoting Alpine to 7th while Mercedes holds 6th, and it's Haas, Horizon Racing, Sauber and Red Bull completing the 11 Constructors over the season. And what a season it's been. Season 6 in the books, and an absolute joy to watch over the course of the year. Thank you so much for sticking with it. We've got one more race in a league versus league battle, which is our next competitive action before Season 7. But thank you so much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. We'll see you for Season 7 in whatever form that takes. Bye for now.